This is a story of stone soup. Once upon a time, there was a traveler, and he made his way to a village one evening, and he didn't have any money, and he didn't have any food or place to sleep. So he hoped that, likely someone would take him in and provide for him. So he began to knock on doors, and he knocked on a door. And the person opened the door just a little ways, and he said, "Please, I'm very hungry, I'm very tired. I don't have anything to offer, but could you please maybe spare some food and a place to sleep?" And the eyes behind the doors looked at the traveler and said, "We barely have enough for ourselves," and slammed the door shut. Well, so the traveler went to the next door and he knocked, and the door opened again, and just two eyes peering out. And the traveler said, I'm sorry, I don't have any food or anything to offer you, but could you please spare some of your food and a place to sleep for the night?" And again, the person behind the door said, "We barely have enough for ourselves," and slammed the door shut. Well, the traveler was feeling very discouraged, and he went into the middle of the village where there was this sort of nice sitting area, and he sat down, he put his head in his hands, and he started to notice that some of the children of the village had gathered, very curious about this stranger. And he looked down at his feet and he saw some stones. And he started talking to himself. "Oh, look at these stones. These are magic stones. Why, I could make the most delicious soup with these magic stones if only I had things to cook with. I'm gonna need a fire, I'm going to need a pot, and I'm going to need a spoon for stirring." Well, one of the children was very curious about this idea of magic soup and went home into the kitchen and indeed got a pot and a spoon and some materials to build a little fire pit. And he went back to where the peddler was sitting, and he gave the traveler the things. And the traveler built a fire, put some water in the pot with the stones, and began to stir. And he stirred, and he took a sip, and he said, "Oh, it's delicious, but it would be really good. Some salt and pepper. That would be really good." And another one of the children thought, "I have a little bit of salt and pepper at my house." So he went back to his home, and he went into the kitchen, and he got some salt and pepper. And the parents saw the child taking the salt and pepper and got curious and followed the child to where the traveler sat, watched the traveler add the salt and pepper and stir, slurp. "Oh, that's good soup," said the traveler, "but you know what would make this soup even better? An onion." So another one of the boys said, "I think we have onions in our pantry." And he went home and went into the pantry and grabbed an onion, came back to where the peddler was, and his parents saw him go too and followed him back to where more and more people began to gather, where the traveler was. And the traveler chopped up the onion, put it in, stirred the pot, took another sip. "Oh, that's the best stone soup I've ever made. But what would make it even better?" said the traveler. "Some vegetables. Potato, a little bit of celery, some carrots." And one of the villagers put their hand up and said, "Well, I have some vegetables that I could spare." Went home, got the vegetables, brought them back, gave them to the traveler. Everybody chopped them up and put them in. The traveler stirred the soup and took a taste. "Oh, it's so good. Oh, that's really delicious soup. But what would make it better? Maybe just like a little bit of meat would make it even better." And another villager put their hand up and said, "Actually, I have a little bit of roast left over. I could bring that for you to put in the pot." And so the villager went home, got the roast, brought it back, gave it to the traveler. The traveler put it in the soup, stirred up the soup, and the traveler took a sip and said, "Oh, oh, this is so delicious. This is the best stone soup I've ever made. But there's so much soup here with all the vegetables, with all the meat, with all the spices, it's just a tremendous bowl of soup. Pot of soup. I can't eat this all myself. Would everyone share this soup with me? And so all the villagers that had gathered at this point were very excited, and they all went home and they got all the things that they needed. They got tables and chairs, they got tablecloths, forks, knives, spoons, glasses, they got juice and water, and they got all these different things to pull together to make this giant feast for all the villagers to partake in. And some villagers brought their guitars and their lutes and their pipes and began to play music, and other villagers danced, and there was singing, and decorations were put up, and became this wonderful festival where everyone ate and celebrated each other into the evening. And when it began to get dark, the mayor of the town said, the traveler is going to spend the night at my house. And so the traveler gathered his things, had a nice sleep at the mayor's house. And in the morning, when he left, he went back to where they had made the stone soup in the middle of the village square. And he saw some children there. And he took the stones out of his pocket and he gave them to the children and said, now you have everything you need to make stone soup. And that's the end. Bye, my friends.